he met with Abraham, you remember the story, his first encounter. He spoke softly to Abraham, I want you to come out from among your people. And he told him where to go and what he was going to do through him. And then as we move on up, we begin to think about Moses. Moses, I want you to go down into Egypt and you're going to be a deliverer. And then I began thinking about Jeremiah. Jeremiah, I called you from your mama's womb. I have an assignment for you. But when we get to the book of Hosea, he says, in the beginning, God spoke to him and said, go marry a whore. Some of you are saying, oh, that's what happened in my marriage. Erase that, erase that. But he speaks to Hosea and he says, I want you to go marry a whore and then I want you to have some children by her. Oh my God. I'm sure Hosea was like, get thee behind me. We don't know what our assignments are on this earth. There are things that we're going through that are going to be a testimony for somebody else walking in the footsteps behind us. We don't understand it all, but if we be faithful to God. So Hosea did exactly what God told him to do. He went and married a woman called who? Gomer. Do you know what Hosea's name means? Salvation. It depicted God. But I was telling my daughter this last night, we almost high-fived each other. I said, Benjamin, do you know what Gomer's name means? But we all think it would mean woman of order. It means complete. God sees the end. He knows we're in the midst of your best. Oh, hallelujah. Her name means complete. Because salvation, which is Hosea's name, knew that in the end, there was going to be a complete even though he has tried to destroy the crop that you planted, there's going to be a completion. And it's going to honor God when it's all over before it is gone. Oh, but you got to learn to prophesy. You got to prophesy to your garden. When the weeds get in there, like he told Adam, he said, I want you to keep the garden. In other words, I want you to garden. So when junk get in there, prophesy. Open your mouth, son, a daughter, husband, or wife. That's not the way. That's not pleasing to God. See, we have to do our part if we want the right completion on the end. So sure enough, he obeyed and he married Gomer, and Gomer gave that man a hard time. But I want to tell you about the 3 children that they had. Because God not only told him to marry a whore, but raise up some children in that bloodline. Can you imagine? So he has his first son, and the first son's name is Jezreel. And God said, because I'm going to avenge for some bloodshed that had occurred in the nation. So I want you to know God is an avenger today. You don't have to fight the battle yourself. Whatever they've done to you, whatever they've tried to do to you, God said, I am an avenger. I'll take care of it. Glory to God. You don't have to try to handle it yourself. Vengeance is what? Mine, says the Lord. So all of these 3 children, what their names mean, represented the plan of God concerning that nation. So he had child number 2. She was a girl, and her name is Laruama. And her name means, I will have no more mercy. Oh my God. We're talking about a God whose heart was broken because of the betrayal of a covenant marriage. He said, you all just keep playing me, he was saying. But I'm getting to the point I will have no more mercy. And one of the things I've seen in the body of Christ, people that operate like, remember I told you in Hosea was the word wild egg? People that are operating like wild eggs, sometimes when God pulls back, just like when he did for Manasseh, they'll begin to seek God with everything in their heart. Sometimes it takes that, the hand of a corrected God, to get people in order. I've seen it happen many times. Glory to God. Hallelujah. Then the 3rd child that they had, Laomi, and his name meant, oh, listen to this one, you are not my people. I tell you what, I don't want to move to that place in God. I don't want to move to that place where mercy is removed and where God says you're not my people. But unfortunately, some will hear that because they're playing with God. They may walk in and fool the pastor, try to fool the bishop, but there's a God whose eyes go to and fro. He sees everything, We're talking today about a God with a broken heart whose covenant bride betrayed him. We're taking it from the spiritual down into the natural and back again. But I love this. See, we got a good God. God had pronounced all of that. And I didn't tell you to turn to this scripture. I'm just going to read it. You can look it up later. Hosea 11 and 9. I love this. With all of God's anger, with all of his wrath, listen to what he said in Hosea 11 and 9. I will not unleash my fierce anger. Because if God unleashes it all, oh my God, it's over with. So he thought about it. That was the bride he loved. He said, I will not unleash my fierce anger. He says, I will not completely destroy Israel. Now there was correction going to come. He said, but I won't completely destroy Israel. Then he goes on to say, I love this. For I am God and not a mere mortal. Aren't you glad you serve God and not a mere mortal? Because man, I tell you, will dust their hands of you. But even when you're in your coma state, and we were all some comas, we were all a horn after the gods of this world. Even in our coma state, God sees completion. He sees that he's going to put his hand on it and what he's going to do through us, amen. But we have to work with God. The husbandman of the garden, we have to work with him. We have to say, Lord, your will, your way, your DNA. He speaks to Hosea. Because by this time, Hosea and Gomer are broken up. Every time he'd get Gomer back home and they'd make one baby, she was gone after her lovers. Oh my God. She was in a vicious cycle. You've seen people like that. A vicious cycle of addiction, drugs. Oh my God, I hear it all the time. A vicious cycle of perverted sex. We were just on a cruise ship last week, and as we were getting off the elevator, one of our ladies that was in our group, a man approached her, and we, every cruise that I coordinate, every single one of them, we have church on board. Those that have gone with us, they know that. We get a room and we have church services at some point in that cruise. This was the first one I coordinated, and I didn't have a group. It was only 4 of us. But anyway, my friend is on the elevator, and this man said, we're having Bible study at 11:30. Can you imagine at night on the cruise ship? I went, God, you're an awesome God. Because he knew that was my heart's desire. Now, I had my DVD players and preaching going on in my cabin and worship music. But it's just something about meeting and fellowshipping with the saints. So we went up there, and it was all men that came in the Bible study. Come to find out, the man that led it that night, he was on his 16th cruise. His ministry is on the cruise ships. He ministers to the workers that are on the cruise ship, and he gives a challenge to people that he meets as the Lord leads him. And he challenges you to learn every scripture that's in a chapter 3 verse 16. Every scripture in that New Testament, chapter 3 verse 16. And he gives them an outline to learn it. And he had been challenging the young people. And some of them had been moving up and learning those scriptures. And when you quote them all, you get a free cruise from him. And he began to tell his testimony. He said, I was a dog that the Bible talks about. Well, when he said that, I knew that meant homosexuality. So sure enough, he got into his testimony. He said, I was a homosexual. I was in it for years. He said, I worked the Oak Lawn area down in Dallas. And Sheila, she's good on that. She's teaching me my iPhone. So she Googled that Oak Lawn thing when I was telling her the testimony. And it's known for its nightclub activity and the sexual perversion. He said, I worked that. And he began to tell us, see, even when you're in the Gomer state, he said, right in the midst of the act itself. We looked at him. He said, I know I'm getting a little detail, but y'all need to know where I come from. He said, right in the midst of the perverted act itself, God spoke to me.